Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniyal Nasir Mirza. Welcome back to Pakistan's #1 combat sports show. This is the weigh-in. It has been an incredibly busy month of December for Pakistani combat sports. It brings me a lot of joy to say that a lot has been happening. I wanted to break all of it down and some more. And I just want to talk to basically the most important man in PakMMA. This is more of a live mentoring session that we're going to have right now in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than the Godfather himself, Bashir Ahmad. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. You just made it all weird with the introduction now. Could just talking, yeah. You know, I enjoy talking to you. So when you have that, like, oh, it's going to be content, you know, it makes things just. It takes a while to just get back into being just completely.
Yeah. No, I mean that's just what I do. I make shit really weird, and then it gets better over time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll smoothen into it. Bashir bhai, we've been trying to do this podcast for a bit. The last couple of weeks, like I said, have been crazy. Last week it was Karachi with Usman Wazeer. We're gonna talk about that. The week before it was Flogger Series. But right now you're heading to a bit of a road trip. Where you headed? What's the plan? How are you feeling about it?
I am going to Chiang Mai, the city in northern Thailand. A little bit outside of it. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Chiang Mai before. That's where I did a lot of my camps when I was competing. It's like it's winter here, so it'll be a bit cooler in Chiang Mai, meaning that it will be a little bit warmer. Actually, yeah, a little bit to moderately warmer than what it is in Lahore right now. So
okay.
to us living in Bangkok, that's like, oh, that's the winter that we can get, you know. So we're going to just some bungalows in the forest up there. So just chill out for a week. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It sounds like something you can use, especially with the amount of like shows one has been doing as well. I'm sure it's been a busy couple of months for you. I mean, with everything inside the matrix and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it has been busy, but I haven't been able to travel. I actually travel for the first time in almost a year in January. Yeah.
Wow. Are you excited?
Yeah. So I am excited, but it's going to be weird because of COVID. It's going to be very, very tightly restricted throughout event week. We had 2 events. We had 2 months of events in Bangkok in July and August, and that was pretty regimented because of COVID, like the fight week. Singapore will be even more regimented. And then when I fly back into Thailand, I have to do 16 days of quarantine in a hotel room. So, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are doing it now, and it's just kind of become a part of, like, normal travel to a lot of places. But I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
No, hold on. I am looking forward to it, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I bet it's going to be. I bet it's going to be really tough, and 16 days is not a small amount of time. Here, it's like Pakistan. I mean, we figured it out, Bashir, but don't even worry about it. COVID, we got that on lock. It's no problem. Like, I was flying to Karachi. I was hoping they would, like, leave a seat, you know, in between people. Nah, nothing. I had 2 masks and a face shield, and I was praying to God. That was how I was getting through that. It was really bad.
Yeah, it's really weird, though. The whole COVID thing is really weird because we don't know much about it, you know.
Yeah.
So, and no one knows if they're doing the right action, you know. Is it best to do like a full lockdown, or is it, you know, best to do it in this way or that way, you know? So it's really weird. It's really weird. Like, I will know like 10 years from now when people go back and analyze all the data.
Yeah.
You know.
Then we'll know for sure.
Well, then we'll have a better. Then we'll have a better idea. Like, these are the things that people actually did right. These are people that were just pointless. You know.
Yeah. I mean, hindsight is 2020, and so is the year 2020. Fuck 2020. I just wanted to put that out there. Fuck this year. But no, Bashir bhai, there's a lot that I want to talk to you about. What I want to start to you first by is, considering the year is coming to an end, and I know a lot of people are right now, I mean, by the end of this year, trying to recover what they might have lost, or at least trying to, you know, help those who might need it the most. I wanted to talk to you a lot and in depth about Shaheen. It's year-end fundraiser. First of all, straight off the bat, usually we leave the plugs at the end. I want the plug to be at the start right now. Tell me everything about this fundraiser, and we'll explain to you why it's important for you to know about this fundraiser afterwards. Mainly because Shaheen Academy is churning out what I think is the future of Pakistani combat sports, inside what can be described as a very rough and tough environment of a gym in deep inside Shaheen. That's where the kids are being educated. That's where the kids are learning how to fight. That's where the kids are being kept. I mean, tell me about it.
Well, it's funny that you asked about the fundraiser because we hit our goal and have surpassed it already.
Yo.
So yeah, so it's I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And it made me, and it humbled me, and made me realize how far that we've come because I didn't think that we would be able to. We had a goal of $5,000 to raise, right? With that, we're going to upgrade the bathroom. When's the last time you were at Shaheen? Anyway, but the bathroom is the same as the first time we went to Shaheen, right? So it's, you know, everything is like, right? You know, everything is like. So we're gonna fix up the bathroom. We're gonna add a little kitchen. We have like a webcam wall that we use. And we used that 2 nights ago with someone, Sandra Godvik from Thailand. She's a European champion. She's very active in the female Muay Thai scene, and she did a 30-minute clinching technique session to our kids through the webcamming, and we've got an LED. We've got a nice webcam set up there. So we're doing these like classes now over there too. But it's a little tough because we have this like really, really low budget laptop. So we're also going to upgrade the laptop because now that we have the webcam thing and we have greater technological requirements. But the benefits already, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's
completely awesome. Yeah. And I'm gonna Rich Franklin did a talk with the kids, the webcamming system.
Wow.
And I haven't put this out there yet. We're recording these conversations too. So, it might be like next year you see like this kind of highlight of all these people, talking to the kids of Shaheen, just maybe one motivational little bit. It's been really awesome. It's been really, really awesome.
That is incredible.
So, yeah. So we got, we need to upgrade the laptop. Abdurrahman, I don't know if you know him. He got into college. He got into government college. He's the first kid in his family that will now, I think, go past the matric, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that. Matric level. So there's a lot of things that we want to know. Yeah. But now with all this, and we had that budget of $5,000, and also another year of rent, so we had an additional runway. One of the things that I like to do is when the fundraiser comes up, I like to pay the rent 1 year in advance, and now I'm getting that runway to 2 years in advance because the thought of being like, well, okay, what happens in 3 months when we have to pay rent again? I want to have a long runway, so that's not a concern. You know what I mean? That if the world falls apart, Shaheen is open, right? If everyone has to eat because we don't have a salary, Shaheen is open. We have that physical place, And if I have a run rate for 2, 3, 4 years, that's good because if things fall apart, at least that place is there and we can come back and we can try to get momentum going again. So that's kind of the thought process there.
Yeah.
But okay, so that 5,000 goal that we had, we surpassed that.
Wow.
Yesterday, Tim Betts, who he's from the UK and he visited Pakistan in 2017, 2018, and he taught at Shaheen for a few months. He did a 10-hour shadowboxing marathon yesterday in the UK. He did it live on Instagram. The Shaheen kids were like dropping into the conversation, into the live session, motivating him. I was dropping in,
10 hours
chatting with him.
Did I hear that correctly?
10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours. Yeah, he did that nonstop, 10 hours. I don't know if there's. Oh no, actually, wait. There is a world record for shadowboxing, and it's something crazy. It's like 20. But yeah, he did 10 hours. He did 10 hours. He raised a confirmed like almost $700, right?
Wow.
And then there's a potentially a $1,500 that an anonymous person donated. And this is the stuff that is like really. Is just blowing my mind is that I was concerned that because we have a fundraiser every year during Ramadan, and I wanted to like see, well, let's try this in a year and be able to support more momentum and more education and just more upgrades to the gym.
Yeah.
And the support has been, it just blown me away. It just really blown me away, and it makes me very, very motivated for what this is going to become in the future.
Yeah.
It makes me really, really motivated, because that shows me people believe in this, right? It shows me people believe in this, and it shows me that what we're doing and we're showing to people, right? And they're seeing this like, okay, this is something that's going to, I'm going to put my, put my support behind this, because I think this is going to become something bigger.
Yeah.
Because right now it's going to be about 5 years, right? And we have raised almost $50,000. That means $10,000 a year to run an NGO. It's not that much money, right?
Yeah.
It's not that much money in the big grand scheme of things. So they're seeing this, and they're seeing the results that we can get, and it's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I mean, even now, Shaheen is such a brilliant kind of a model as well for sports, and I'll say combat sports education, and taking into account all of the different socioeconomic, factors that people have to go through in their lives. Charapend is like one of those places which really always, intrigues me, because it is right next to, or right in the middle of, literally in the middle of, DHA. It is encapsulated right in between.
Fascinating place, if you think about it.
Yeah. And it is surrounded by all of this privilege that people have, right? Mm-hmm. It is surrounded by all of this kind of comfort and luxury that you can only find in DHA. But there's often just so little done to look towards the place to, gentrify it. I don't even know if that would be the correct term, but perhaps just, make things better. Shaheen is like this little fortress inside of, what is a place that I think does need a massive upgrade, but it is producing talent, which is honestly, like, Bashir bhai, a year into the combat sports stuff now, and now I'm understanding everything properly. Sarai fight night, the first fight I ever called and ring announced, it was Bakar, the Golden Sparrow, right?
Right.
Holy shit, man. He was facing a kid that was like half a foot at least taller than him.
Yeah.
And he choked him out. And this kid, is a product of the Shaheen Academy. He studies there, he lives there, he trains there. And so many of these kids are now, and especially now with all of the things, all of the barriers that have come in, and almost the whole world is kind of realizing now, we don't need people to be there physically to get something done. You know what I mean? We can kind of work our way around it. And with everything that you're talking about, the webcam wall and everything, this is excellent. And you talked to me about this off air. You told me that you are basically looking for any person who can come in and talk to the kids about anything. How does that work?
About anything, about anything. Like, for example, I was talking to one of the students about what they want to do with, like, degree-wise, right, once they go to university, and what subjects they might want to go into. And they're saying, I'm thinking about sports science or nutrition or agriculture, right? And they weren't sure which one. I said, you do what you want, right? But if you're looking for my advice, and that's why they're talking to me, I would say my opinion is that you go for agriculture. Reason being is that, for example, I myself have a degree in exercise science. I have a master's degree in exercise science. And by virtue of you being a mixed martial artist, you're going to learn about these things, right? I bet you that a lot of, like, the mixed martial artists in Pakistan who are into their nutrition and into their training and, like, the kind of the scientific side to it, they're probably more qualified than lots of people who have degrees in this, right? So, my advice to them is that, look, I will get you people to talk about nutrition with you. We'll do a 30-minute, master session with somebody. I'll find somebody, and we'll do a 30-minute nutrition session. You can ask some questions, and you can talk about how you want, like, in your personal situation, being in Pakistan or at your home, or how, your dietary, whatever variables there are, in your life. and you can learn from there. We can provide things like that. So anything, anything, about money management, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you have something, an income coming in, which I hope a lot of these kids will once they start competing, right?
Yeah.
How you put aside this percentage to save, you put aside this percentage for some kind of investment, you put this percentage for fun, that kind of stuff, just real. And you can find people like that, people, friends, fans of Shaheen, just people's recommendations. Yeah, so anything.
For sure. And a lot of crucial stuff that even our education system misses out on, like paying your taxes. Like nobody in this country knows how to pay their taxes. Like that's crazy. So
that's actually really interesting. Yeah, people probably actually don't know how to pay their taxes, and they'll probably feel a little intimidated by the fact of going. And I don't even know how to pay my taxes.
Yeah, I graduated last year. Like I just got done with like 13 years of like being in school, and then 5 years of being in college, and now I've graduated and I've started working, and I'm like, wait a minute, I studied something about this tax business somewhere, but they didn't tell me what the hell I'm supposed to do to pay it. So I mean, like you said, it's very important to get like a little bit out of everything, and I think this is an excellent model that you've created, especially because the world's best.
Well, I won't say creating, because there's going to be mistakes on the way. And ask me in 20 years about created. Ask me about 20 years, because then I'll know more. I have more experience.
Yeah,
right now, it's
fair
a work in progress.
Well, it's a work in progress. Yeah, the model that you are in the process of creating. Let's say it like that. That model is excellent because you realize the world's best resources cannot possibly be in one place, and so all of that essentially is pooled into Shaheen growing. And you know what? Once these kids start, fighting, properly having a fight schedule, 1-3 fights a year. And they turn into professional mixed martial arts fighters. They're then traveling the world. I think that is going to be a phenomenon that's primarily going to exist from here in Pakistan, and I feel like it's super exciting stuff. Like I'm waiting for the day, right? I'm waiting for the day we have a Team Shaheen flying out somewhere. You know what I mean? Going there to kick some ass. Like that would be the best feeling for all of us as a country, and I'm like just getting goosebumps thinking about it. You know what I mean?
I know.
Abu Bakar in the 1K just throwing on a ninja choke. Holy shit, there we go. Like I'm ready.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like I'm creating a superhero team sometimes.
I've seen these kids. They are superheroes. I've seen Ishaq. I've seen Zabiullah. I saw him fight at LFC. Saw Abu Bakar fight. Abdur Rahman. I saw his Facebook page the other day, if that counts. But I've seen these kids fight, and they're pretty good for their that's what people say. It's pretty good for their age, but they're well beyond their years. And it just goes to show the kind of people. And we have to give a big shout out to Muzammil, Samir, all the Owais, all these kind of, these guys are essentially playing the big brother role here. Especially Muzammil. I know he's been working really hard on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm glad you mentioned them, because Muzammil, like, if anybody watching this is somebody who is a donor and has supported Shaheen, and want to have an idea of, like, Muzammil lives at the gym, right? This is his life, right? Any organization, right, is lucky to have a person like that. If for whatever reason, the funding dried up, he wouldn't go home, right? He wouldn't just be like, oh, okay, I won't be getting like a salary, I'm going to go home. That's not going to happen. That, like, his home and his life and his family and Shaheen, that's like, those things are like one and the same. And the instructors, all of them are really kind of evidence of that first group of people who started training in MMA, right? Like 5-10 years ago. And look, not all of them are going to become like superstars, right? Because like the reality is that like the level of MMA in the country at the time and what it is, but people are getting better because of the people before them, right? So like when I was here initially in the first couple of years, and like someone like Owais came, right? who did Owais have to train with other tthan me, right? No one else around him knew anything. Nothing. Who was there to train with me, right? Because I had been only training 2 or 3 years at that point when I first came here.
Yeah.
And so, but now, like, these kids at Shaheen, you know, they are being, the people in front of them, right, like, have been training for 5-10 years, you know? Like, the kid who comes in who's, like, 10 years old, 12 years old, has a training partner his size, right, who is the level that I was when I came to Pakistan.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, you know? 10 or 12-year-old has somebody that is or possibly surpass the skill set that I had in 2010 in Pakistan, right? Damn. And now these are the training partners. So, yeah, I mean, all credit. I mean, credit is everybody together, but so much credit to the teachers there. You know, to the coaches, to Irfan, to Owais, to Samir, to Hassan, all those guys. Yeah, absolutely, sharing their knowledge, sharing their experience. Yeah, and yeah, it's crazy to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the cycle. This is how the cycle this is how the whole thing kind of grows. You know what I mean? Like, you literally had nobody to train with, and now these guys are passing on so much information, and so much such crucial information to these kids. And you know, it's even scary to think what would happen, you know, even 10 years more down the line, like when you have an even more newer batch of, you know, students, and the cycle continues. So it's exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is why if you look back on the times that I was asked questions by the media, and other people bring it up, it's like, we need government support. Government support will help, but you can't speed up learning. You can throw $1 million at this, right? And that 12-year-old at 14 is not going to become like something amazing, right? You could actually waste that money too. The time has to pass, you know. The time has to pass. The learning has to happen. The transfer of knowledge from like one generation to the other. That whole cycle, like you said, you know, that has to be there. That ecosystem has to be there. You can't just be like, here, give me some support and bring in a coach from wherever, and then all of a sudden everything, you know, it's like 180. It's not going to work like that.
Exactly. And you know, I asked you this question actually the first podcast we did almost now a year ago, because I think that was in March. Holy shit, it's December.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, the time flies, huh? But yeah, I remember asking you as well. I asked you, what do we need different, like, or what do we need for us to get the first world champion? And you said just time. That's all we need, and I completely agree with you. I understand that now. I really do understand that. And you know, you can see it, like, when we would look at 2015. Or, you know, 2014, or even before that, you know, when we first had you on the scene. Let's just go back to that. When we first had you on the scene, you were our top guy. You know what I mean? You were the guy who was raising the flag really high in the biggest promotion. Now, if you look at who our top guy is, he's Mehmosh Raza. You know what I mean? And he is, and the way that you look at, and Mehmosh. So I want to talk to you about this before we get into Flogger and before we get into.
But you know, it's funny, like, because like. These things like top guys, this is, and I, now as things have matured, this has also changed. It's that place, it comes and it goes, that throne, you know? Like Mehmosh right now, because he's probably the one with the most recent win in a large organization, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when the next time that happens, right, and I'm sure it'll be soon enough, right, whether it's in Brave or one championship, then that might be the top guy.
Yeah, for sure. It constantly changes, right? And you had Mustafa in this position a couple years ago. I'm sure a lot of people would even contest what I'm saying right now. The reason I'm saying Mehmosh is the top guy, and this is completely 100% my opinion. It's not written somewhere. We don't have a journal. You know what I mean? But the reason I'm saying it is because, okay, Mehmosh beat a guy, and this is crazy for me, right? And I was going crazy. I was in Islamabad. I went to shoot some stuff there, and I just got to my guest room. I quickly turned on my laptop. I think it was like one of the first few prelims. He was facing Callum Murray from somewhere.
Scotland.
Yeah, Callum. Yeah. And he had gone to Bellator, and he got a win. Right, so he was coming.
Right. Yeah.
He was coming off of a win in Bellator. This guy is a 10th planet Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Right, Callum Murray. He's a Taekwondo black belt, and he's faced up against Mehmosh I'll give you an insider, an injured Mehmosh Raza, right? And what does Mehmosh do? He shows us that he comes leaps and bounds into where he was, and he ends the fight with a takedown. He survives the first round, wins the second.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that was just a star-making performance for me, and just the and this is what I'm talking about. The 5 years has brought us to this point where a Pakistani man took down the 10th planet black belt, right? And there's like 15 of us here in Pakistan just going, oh shit, what do we just see? The scene is evolving constantly, right?
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I knew that he had a win in Bellator, but I didn't know he had he was that experienced on the ground as well. Yeah, man. Let's see. And Moshe is still young.
Yeah. That's the crazy part. He's like 25.
Right. Yeah. So we won't really know where he's going to end up, like in like 3 to 5 years when he should be entering in his peak.
Yeah.
So if he continues up this, that's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean it's just nuts. You know, he's one of our youngest guys, and we have so many more guys who are gonna be getting. And I'm sure there was gonna be so many more guys who were supposed to compete this year had it not been for everything that had completely toppled.
Right.
Yeah, and this is but nonetheless, Bashir bhai, regardless of what the international landscape's been like, there's been so much happening in Pakistan somehow, right? Like, I don't know how they're letting this stuff happen, but it is happening. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is actually not MMA related. What do you know about Usman Wazeer, the Asian boy?
Not that much. He is from the northern areas as well, right? He's from Gilgit.
Gilgit-Baltistan, yes, sir.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't follow boxing that much, so like I don't have that same I don't know but I don't have that same wish to examine things as I do in MMA. But I mean, from what like he's winning titles and so I mean he's a prospect. I don't know how old he is, so it's really tough for me to say like what I see. But he's one of the top boxers in Pakistan, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, this is a segment I've always wanted to do, because I want to call it the Godfather and the Podfather, right? You get it? Do you like that? I really like that. I laughed my ass off. My friends hated me for it. I'm pretty sure you hate me for it. But this is the Godfather and the Podfather. No, I'm kidding. Because I want to give you some information that I want to really hear your opinion on this. So Usman Wazeer, 24 or 25, if I'm not wrong. Very young guy.'s the Asian Boxing Federation welterweight champion of the world. He won the title October 3rd under the banner of AK Promotions. It's Amir Khan Promotions. He co-collaborated with the event Team Wazeer. That's his team. Team Wazeer, AK Promotions, October 3rd, put on the event. Usman Wazeer wins the championship. He walks out of Islamabad in the Amir Khan Boxing Hall as the Asian Boxing Federation welterweight champion. A month passes. This guy here was the ring announcer for that event. Wanted to know when the next event is. I called him, and I get some kind of feeling that there is a split of the scenes. Understandably so. Sometimes that stuff happens. This is the boxing business or whatever they say, right? Now here's what happens. They both, Amir Khan and Usman Wazeer, both put on a show on the 19th of December.
Right.
One in Lahore, one in Karachi. Usman retains his title, and Muhammad Wasim, who was headlining that event, wins his fight against Jenny Boy Boca. So what I'm trying to get at here, and this is a message perhaps to these fine gentlemen if they're watching, which they're probably not, but what the hell is going on? This is supposed to be something really good. Just from a promotional standpoint, right? It's supposed to be something which is collaborative, massive, and now 2 months down the line, it's already starting to look like, what's happening here?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you my perspective, is that maybe that is something good, right? Maybe there is such a big pie now, right, that these two couldn't come to an agreement as to how they're going to split it. They're like, well, I'll just do my event in Karachi and make my, my money and my exposure here, and I'll do my event in Lahore and make my money and exposure here. So that very well could be what the case is. And if that's the case, then that means things are getting bigger and there's more opportunities, if you want to view it through the lens, like, where's that, united front, and where's that friendship and camaraderie and sports? Man, let me tell you, since like I've now really kind of gotten into like the in the industry and how like it runs like a business, right? So you can't get too caught up in the emotional part of it, and it sucks, like, because like for me that's where kind of like I come from. I'm like grassroots, Shaheen, like like everyone PakMMA United working together and stuff like that. But that's how it is. So maybe this is just a sign of how more mature and developed the sports industry has become in Pakistan, that this can happen, right? That Usman Wazeer doesn't feel like he needs Amir Khan, right? Amir Khan, Olympic medalist, to run his event, that he can constantly walk away from Amir Khan and hold an event in Karachi, right? To me, that is maybe a sign of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not evolution necessarily of the sport, but just an advancement of the sport, at least like in a larger pie,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened.
See,
like,
I don't.
Maybe, yeah. So maybe they said something impolite to each other, or there's something. I don't know. Like, I don't know the. Yeah. I don't know what the details behind this are.
This is just how this is how also sensitive the whole scene can be. Just one thing can set something. But the thing is, regardless of what it was, my only question is, you can host both shows 5 days apart. You know what I mean? It just seems kind of malicious. It just seems kind of malicious.
It's not right for the fans. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And it's not right for this guy. I wanted to do both things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, Bashir? But I wanted to go.
Right. You're a fan. It's because you're a fan. You're a fan.
Yeah. And I want to work as like a ring announcer for both places. So it was kind of like, okay, I have to make a choice here. Of course, I committed Team Wazeer because they're my homeboys and all of that. And you know what? Something you said was very interesting. I agree with you. Usman Wazeer doesn't need Amir Khan. You know what I mean? A lot of us don't need Amir Khan. Amir Khan doesn't even need us. And you're right. The economy is that big because you have a global superstar who's come back to the country. He can do his own thing. And he did. He had his fights, 2 of them live on PV Sports. Usman Wazeer had Geo Super for 4.5 hours. You know what I mean? This is you can tell where the balance is shifted, kind of, in pretty much the opposite way as you'd expect.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I mean that why do they have to have it on the same day for real?
Yeah, right.
Come on, someone should have been like, all right, I'll be the gentleman here for the fans, and Yeah.
I mean, I spent the entire weekend with Team Wazeer, so I mean, I could be getting all this wrong, but they had booked their event well in advance. They announced it with Sancha Promotions and everything, and then like a couple of days later, AK Promotions came out with a poster for the event, 19th December, same day, and it had Usman Wazeer on the poster. I was looking at the poster going, you guys know he's in Karachi on this day, right? It was pretty funny.
Okay. I didn't. I thought that the one at the governor's house was announced first, and this came last minute. Like I said, I didn't know anything about this. All I heard is that there was a boxing event at the governor's house because the kids from Team Machine wanted to see if I could get them tickets to go. And I was like, gonna do that. Yeah.
Hey, just let me know next.
But
I mean, this is this is pretty crazy stuff. I mean, and I guess to a certain extent, I think this is proof that the pie is big enough. There is an interest. All of those people who would like come up and tell me like, oh, people don't give a shit about combat sports or boxing or whatever. Well, take this. There's 2 events happening on the same day. That's probably not strategically the best thing, but nonetheless, people did tune in. People did care. So I think it is a net positive. I want to ask you something, Bashir Bhai, really quick. Do you still want to box Amir Khan?
No, I never wanted to box him.
Okay.
Although but okay. If you threw a bunch of money at me to box him, yeah, of course I would. Well, of course I would do that. Of course I would do that. Would I do it for free? No, because he would hurt me really bad. Right? Would I do an MMA fight with him? Yeah, for sure. And I might do that for free because like that's what the advantage is. Yeah. So depends.
All right, no,
depends on how bad.
I'll set it up right here, Bashir Bhai, and we'll see if we can make this happen. It's Amir King Khan, Bashir Ahmad, the Godfather of Pakistani combat sports is what we're calling it, not MMA, because fuck that, dude. Both boxing and MMA, right? And kickboxing. Charity event. Amir Khan, if you turn this down, you're an asshole. Simple. There we go. That's how we guilt him into it, Bashir Bhai. We can do this.
Man, if you can guilt him into it, that would be I don't want you to guilt him into it. But if that's what it took, then all right. If it's for a good cause.
I'll work on
and
it.
I know he has. Yeah, and I know he has a lot of philanthropical projects as well. So he has invested in interest in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And helping people how we can. So
yeah, and no, in all seriousness, he's even right now he's doing he's doing some great stuff with the AK Foundation as well. But I when I was younger and I saw you put up that post challenging him, I was like, oh, here we go, because you were the two guys I knew about. And and I was like, I want to see this happen. And I didn't understand what MMA or boxing was. Now, if I think about it, it is going to be pretty comical if you guys do an MMA fight, I think. Pretty comical. But yeah. I mean,
when that was all going on, there was a reporter that asked him about the fight at a press conference in front of everybody else. And that reporter sent it to me in a WhatsApp message. He was like, don't show this to anybody. And so I didn't. And I lost the video now. Like a long time ago. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. Right. So, but yeah, it was kind of interesting how that actually got a decent amount of traction there.
What did he say? I really want to know.
I think I'm pretty sure he said he didn't know who I was.
Oh, come
right?
on.
And which might be true.
That's a lie.
Might be true.
Lie.
I don't think so. Yeah. There's a lot of mutual friends. And then it was very, very brief, and it kind of very brushed it off. And I think that's why they didn't run with it, because he didn't give them anything to put out there. Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, if that fight would have happened, sold out Alhambra or something like that, freaking hell.
If you think about it in the sense of like a super fight, that would get people's eyeballs in Pakistan, it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I
mean,
especially in climate, with Jake Paul,
holy shit, Bashir, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, I'm so physically just cringed out at this whole like YouTuber boxing thing. Like I remember watching it like way back when the first one was happening, and I was watching. I was like, this is never gonna catch on. And now it's like Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Like, he's 156 pounds on a good day if he eats 2 Big Macs. And this guy's like 185 pound white silverback gorilla who has no skill. Right? How is this gonna work out?
No, he has some skill. He's been training boxing for
in front of Floyd.
Wait, I forget which one. Yeah, no, in front of Floyd.
Yeah, no, I mean him and his brother have worked hard, and you got to give them props for that. I mean, you can tell they look right now compared to the first few fights. They look right. They look like they belong in there. But at the same time, it's like, come on, Floyd Mayweather. But anyway, we're digressing. I want to bring us back here to Pakistan. Flogger Series 6. Bashir bhai.
How was that?
Oh my God. How was that? Okay, so it was in collaboration with SA. Do you know what SA Gardens is?
No, but I know SAGMMA for a while. And there's just so much going on in Pakistan now that I don't really keep up with it. But like I'm familiar with them, and I know that they had put on some events before. In fact, they'd used our cage from Shaheen before as well.
Yes, they did.
In fact, the cage that they have is like a replica, or at least it was built upon a model of the Shaheen cage. So I'm familiar with them. But actually, I didn't know that it was what is it? SA Gardens? What does it stand for? Is that somebody's name?
Yeah, it's SA Gardens. So it's like really far from all civilization, which is a drawback, but it's okay because the place is unlike anything I've seen. So you go all the way to you're about to exit Lahore, Kalashakaku. I said that right. Kalashakaku, right near the exit of Lahore. And then you turn up, and it's nuts, Bashir bhai. There's ostriches. I can't even explain this place to you, man. No, it's like barren land because it's most of it's under construction.
Were the ostriches roaming freely or in cages?
No, they're in cages. But there's like 40 of them bunched inside a cage, and they're all like with their necks.
So they're raising. This is for like
they're residents.
What are they? They're raising like as livestock.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, I guess, but. It's like all of this is just for the people that live at SA Gardens. There's like racetracks there. There's like freaking billboards. I saw an SAGMMA billboard. I was like, What the fuck?
Wow.
Right inside SA Guards. I saw the words MMA in Pakistan on a billboard. I lost my shit, man.
Wow.
I lost my shit. I was like, what is this place? Where are we? And then we kept going and the map said, no, you have to. And we were on like, after a point, we'd enter phase 2 or something.
How big is this place? How big is the actual housing society? The housing society.
Massive.
Right?
I'm gonna look it up for you if you can just talk over me for a second. But holy.
I mean, would you say it's as big as Defense?
Bigger, I would say. I can't find this, Bashir, but I'm sorry. But it is probably not bigger than all of Defense combined. But if you take like
Old Defense, would you say it's as big as Old Defense?
Yeah, definitely bigger. Bigger probably, because after a point it was just like, you know, and they'd made a purpose-built racetrack with like 6 sports cars out on display. It was like 8 sports bikes. It was disgustingly amazing. Like I was like, where am I? Like I'm not one for these things. I don't like cars or whatever, but if I was, I would be like going crazy right now because they had like all of them. You know what I mean? I can't even name one car for you right now. I'm not a car guy. I'm not a diesel head. But it was nuts. And then they had like a whole setup, very nice setup. The setup I would say was shit. I think it was better than SFN setup, and I would say that because they had overhead the 4 screens. You know, 1 screen, 2 screen, 3 screen, 4 screen. That business going on. Right? They had that business in Pakistan under the cage. And everything was just, you know, they had their big flexes. This whole thing was a big flex. You know what I mean? It was just, all of this was there. And the event was supposed to be a cracker, but regardless of all of this, there was a bit of, you know, some delay. There was a lot of...
Was the event itself not as smoothly run as like the look and the production value of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, the problem was it started late, which was, you know, whoever's problem that is. It's Pakistan. You can figure that out for years, and you'll never get to the bottom of it. That wo masla hua tha, phir uske baad there was some hue in the air, and the first fight, the dude shot for a takedown, slipped, almost landed on the other guy's knee. Because it was slippery, and then they had to put like a tambu over it, which took some more time. So on. I left by like the 4th fight, and they had 7. I couldn't stay for the last 3 main fights, ironically enough, because it was like really late. It was almost 1 a.m. I live like 45 minutes away. You know, I was like, all right, I'm out.
It was 1 a.m. in the last 3.
It was nuts.
That's not fair to athletes either.
No, dude, the athletes were like, they were just getting by. I mean, you know what I mean? Then it was pretty cold outside too. I felt after like the 4th fight, I went, like I just climbed towards the ring, and I suddenly froze, and I was like, holy shit, okay, I need to get home, like, because I've been outside without shoes in this weather for like 4 hours doing this thing. So it was just bad. But ultimately, the thing I wanted to say was, management mishaps aside, right? And those were although like important to cover, because ultimately SAGMMA, Flogger Series, you guys, I love you to death. We're about to, you know, cover your whole event or whatever. But these are important things to note, just how ridiculous the whole thing was. And then, of course, you know, how much delay. Bashir bhai, tell me about the first Pakistan Afghanistan card that you were a part of or you saw. What did that look like?
Man, I need to send you a documentary about it.
Right?
Yeah.
Please.
It like it's a pretty interesting thing. I made it all myself essentially, even like the editing.
Damn.
Yeah.
I need to see this. I need to see this really bad.
Yeah. It's not very good, but it's fun. It's like watching a really awesome home movie. But it was at Fighting Alliance 1, and it was the first time that we had Afghanis coming over for MMA. I went and picked them up from the border.
Love it.
And we documented all that. But they kicked our ass. I don't think we won a single fight that night. You know, not a single one. Yeah, well, like because it was Fighting Alliance. It was all our amateur guys, right? It wasn't. There was no Alumi there. You know, it was like there was no Owais Shah. You know, no Ahmed Mustafa. These guys weren't fighting, right? Because the first Fighting Alliance was like, we're gonna make it like we're gonna start doing on this amateur thing, because we had that at that point, right? There was this really, I mean, it's just kind of silly line demarcation between like that first generation, the second generation, right? It's just because it's so early on. It was like, okay, like now all those people you can group them in one group, right? But that would be like at a time when Mehmosh was like an amateur, right? When Mehmosh, people were like, oh, Mehmosh, he's like the new guy, right? You know, there's like that people, something like that. So we had all those guys fighting, and then the Afghans, they were the Alumis and the Mushtabas, you know, that level, and you could see it, right? And we were like, what the hell? Like, you know, this is this is not what we agreed upon, right?
Well, the fast one.
And yeah. So, and then that's why we had Fighting Alliance 2, Vengeance, where then we had Alumi and we had Bakar, and that was an awesome card, though.
Yeah.
That was an awesome card. I said the last 3 fights were so anyway. So the first one, we got our asses kicked, right? So that's the story about that, right? We got our asses kicked, and then the next one, when we invited them for the second time, it was like, okay, now you fight Alumi, now you fight Bakar, and I forget who the third one was. It was a guy from, I think it was a Pakido person.
Okay.
But so the first one, the Pakistani lost due to injury, right? And it was like, man. And then the second time, Alumi, he's doing well. He got clipped by the guy, and you know what it was like? It was like, you know, when you're watching cricket and you see the batting collapse, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then Bakar finally won at the end, and everyone went crazy.
I remember,
the ring.
I've seen that video with an RNC, right?
Yeah. So there's a real awesome picture from that. It looks like a painting. But everyone's like lifting Bakar up in the ring. So yeah, then that was the second one, and then things started coming quite regular, and now you have Pakistan versus Afghanistan matches, all the time.
And the reason I ask you like how that one was, and I want to contrast it to this one, we had 3 title fights, top of the card, right? So we had Nematullah Khan from Pakistan. We had Rafiq Afridi from Pakistan, we had Rizwan Ali from Pakistan, and we had Izzat Khan, we had Nazir Khan. These guys are from Pakistan, not from Pakistan. This was the 5-fight main card. Then you had the 2 fights, Ismail Khan and then Babar Ali. Babar Ali's Afghan opponent couldn't make weight, so we forget about that one. Ismail the Volcano Khan, the Flogger Series semi-pro flyweight champion. Bashir bhai, I want to tell you, I've told the rest of the world, anybody who would listen, I'll tell you as well, I'm going on record to say this kid is special. He's probably going to be like one of those guys who's going to come up and because he's so fundamentally sound with his wrestling, right?
I've seen little clips of his wrestling, and it looks really good. Yeah.
My God, like he has his hands right always at the sweet spot, you know. Takes his opponents down, sometimes lifts them up, runs across the cage, takes him down Mad Hughes style if he needs to. This kid is just, you know, he understands what he's doing. Like, and this is what I've seen. He has a lot of ring awareness. Of course, that changes with levels. But so far, everything I've seen with Ismail Khan, credit to KAX Fight Club, has been absolutely splendid. He won his fight against his Afghani opponent. 2 of the 3 title fights, we won. Against the Afghani opponents, right? So what I'm trying to say is this was a very important card for PakMMA's history, I would say. Flogger Series 6, SAGMMA. And credit to both of these parties. The reason I say it's such an important event is because we won. You know what I mean? And it's not like we won barely, or maybe the fights were tired. We won the more important ones. We won the large majority of fights that night. This is, I want to say it's unprecedented, but even LFC, Lions Fighting Championship, that I went to before the lockdowns happened in March. That was in Dera Ismail Khan. Even on that, we lost most of the fights. We didn't win. You know, we didn't win the card. This, however, was our best showing. These were some of our best guys against some of the best guys from SFN Afghanistan. And wow, you know what I mean? This is the guys from Pakistan, the guys from KAX Fight Club, and all these other guys as well. Bashir bhai, it was just an excellent showing. And, you know, how far have things come? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see when we start getting really excited about domestic fights, you know? that'll be when we want to know. We want to know, like, who is the best flyweight in Pakistan, right? We want to know, like, and we have like not just one or two matchups, like, okay, that guy's making a lot of noise versus that guy, but it's like, dude, there's this whole division, like there's like 5 or 6 people here, and we want to see them fight, we really want to see them fight. We want to know who the best is. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, and
that'll be a lot of fun.
These weight classes are shaping up, and these guys are like, at least within the inner circles. And now, because like I've started this, I try to cover it as much as possible. There is other guys who are covering this as well now. There's guys who are essentially paying attention to the sport the way that nobody's ever paid attention to the sport. I can name the top 3 or 4 flyweights for you right now. It's Haider Satti, probably Haider Farman if he fights a flyweight, Ismail Khan, Ayub Khan. I can name some of the best lightweights for you. Rizwan Ali, Samir Jatt, and then you go to Nematullah Khan. There's basically, what I'm saying is the battle lines are more or less drawn, right? And for PakMMA, I think the next big thing is going to be this little injection, this little dose of like, all right, here's a big stage that works regularly, because boxing in Pakistan has kind of figured that out. They didn't went 2 months in after the last one. MMA, not so much. SFN was big, apart from Flogger Series. Bashir, Flogger Series has put on, I don't know, 13 events in like 11 months or something like that. It's nuts. So we just got to put all of our focus to wherever it can go. And I think things have come really, really long way for PakMMA.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and going back to you said that, at SAG, Flogger, we won the card. The Afghans, man, MMA in Afghanistan is pretty good. It's pretty good. Those guys are fighting in ACA all the time. Yeah. Well, in fact, I think Boz is fighting in ACA this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, this Sunday. So maybe he's fighting tonight. Yeah.
And the thing is, if you go look at like when our guys go over to Afghanistan, so if Afghani guys come over here a lot. Our guys go to Afghanistan, they go to SLFC, right? Najm Khan competed in SLFC.
Right, yeah.
Ayub Khan competed there.
Really, Najm Khan is quite a notorious figure in Afghanistan.
Right, the Afghan killer. I love him.
Yeah.
And like no joke, on the record, Najm Khan is my favorite fighter. Straight up. Just how can he not be your favorite fighter?
The first time that he fought, I remember going up to him. This is like, this is the first time he fought, so no one knew who he was. I go up to him and I said, and I was very sincere, and I still am. And he remembers this. He remembers this very clearly, right? Because I was like the only guy like competing. I went up to him and I was like, "You are my hero," and I'm just like, everyone is like, "You are my hero," and I mean that. I mean that. Like that guy is inspiring. So, whenever like he's gone and fought, or I always make sure I post that. You are my hero. So he remembers that, like, from the first time that he fought, I just went up to him and just, I was wowed. Yeah. And like the guy he was fighting was also Afghani, and a friend of mine too, Idris. But he was kind of like showboating and stuff like that, putting his hands down and like, and then he clipped him and he went down. Yeah.
Man, Najm touches you with like any one of his hands, you're going out. Like there's no give. My God, Najm is such a I got to go and see him train in Fight Fortress. Oh my God, like I've never felt so bad for a heavy bag. Like the dude just 8 strike combo on the bag, does a spinning back kick. I'm just standing there going like, dude, you're supposed to be like, knockout artist. And he's like a proper martial, like he's just my favorite fighter. That's all I want to say about Najm Khan. And you go watch Najm Khan at SLFC, look that up on YouTube or wherever. And you know what you see? You see excellent production quality from the Afghani MMA promotion. You see amazing camera work.
Yeah.
The commentators sound like they've been doing this for a couple of years now. They sound a lot better than our commentators here. It's just a higher level, and for us and for us to like beat him, it's crazy. Bashir, I feel like it's my moral obligation now to bring you like a dose of Pakistani MMA to your life every couple of weeks. Just come and be like,
oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. This is why the fact that we had such a long gap, that's not cool.
Yeah.
We should catch up early. Yeah.
Yes, please.
For me, I love hearing about this. Yeah. I see it, but it's good to talk about it in detail and kind of.
Yeah, and people really want to know how you feel about everything that's happening here.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good note to kind of end this on. I want to hear the state of the PakMMA address, Bashir Bhai. How do you feel everything is coming along now from, something that you helped started?
Well, let's put it into perspective. It is 2020, right? A year when so many things just completely shut down. And Pakistani MMA still had a good year. Pakistani MMA still had a good year. So yeah, that's the state of Pakistani MMA right now. That even in a time like COVID, it just keeps going along and growing. Yeah, and that I think we're going to see big things in 2021 as things begin to open up.
Yeah.
Who knows? All these people training and maybe not fighting overseas and not having that. Maybe you're going to see a completely new breed in 2021. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. And you know what? A lot of people are chomping at the bit, literally just waiting to get a fight so they can go abroad.
Yeah.
So 2021, if and when things start to get better, I'm just so excited for all of these guys who are going to go and get to compete. Already we have we already covered all of this happening in 1 year. Hopefully by now we're going to be announcing the year-end awards that we've started. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy. I thought this would be the year where I have to think of something else. So everything's in full swing here in Pakistan. Like I said, we have COVID figured out.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, Bashir Bhai, I just want to give the floor over to you. Anything you want to say? Anything you want to get off your chest? Take us home. Close the show.
No. Nothing to get off my chest. Actually, I'm just feeling very happy and grateful about the Shaheen fundraiser. The fact that we're going to talk to them, try to, and we've hit our goal. I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling very confident, very excited about Shaheen. And just the people who are watching and who are watching and listening to your podcast regularly, these must be the most rabid fans, right, of Pakistan. Check out Shaheen, right? Check out Shaheen and you know what? If somebody out there wants to work for Shaheen, wants to volunteer or something, and you want to be involved in MMA in Pakistan, hit me up. Maybe something can happen. Hit me up for sure. And we got to talk about some things.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got some business to take care of. And for everybody watching, thank you so much for watching. Every link is in the description, from Shaheen to Bashir Bhai's Instagram, to our Instagram, to everywhere. Just go look it up. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us a like. Leave us a nice little comment. Tell us you love us. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But just tell us nice things. And from me to you, as always, from me and Bashir Bhai, or should I say from the Godfather and the Podfather, I just want to say, until next time, the 3 words always used to end a podcast, that is keep it tight. Stay tuned.